I am Buddhist. So maybe some of my explanation, maybe a little bit, prejudice.
No.
Prejudice. Please you watch or examine. Now in Buddhism, Buddhist tradition, Pali tradition, that it seems those teaching of Buddha public level, that's eventually the Pali tradition, you see, collect these things. So there are Katusum, Katuasum.
The three phases of a collection of Buddha's teachings.
Vinaya, Abhidhamma, and correcting Dodi.
Sutrayana.
Soon after Buddha passed away, Kashyapa Bhikshu, and then Ananda, Gungao, and Nyawakor Kasa. What called Vinaya, Nangeti Nyawakorsa.
Upali.
Upali. So that publicly sort of recorded, and history books mention these things. Then, like Nagarjuna, and also Maitreya, or sometimes we call Maitreya Buddha, sometimes we call Maitreya Bodhisattva.
When we look at from the common viewpoint of Sutrayana and Tantrayana, then we can consider Maitreya as a bodhisattva.
So I think Maitreya Bodhisattva. I really don't know. I think I want to ask some scholars, please carry some research, because recently I read the Dodu Kongri Karsa.
Sandin Nimochan Sutra.
The commentary about that book, wrote by, we usually consider Chinese scholar, but actually Korean, Wenchek. So his sort of commentary about that sort of book, 3 volumes in Tenju, I read. So they have mentioned the name of parent of Maitreya. So Ganden Tenzing Samogomo, you have to even I think the godly, the Bodhisattva Maitreya, I don't think father and mother. Like Sukhavati, usually we consider the people born from lotus. I don't think so. In that commentary, the great scholar, a Korean scholar, the Korean knows his name and the commentary also. So it mentioned the name, the name of mother of Maitreya, also Chama. Chame Puinza, Chamba says the question.
It's the female aspects of Maitreya. Because of that, being the son of female Maitreya or loving kindness mother, he has acquired the name Maitreya or loving kindness.
So in any way, it is well known about 5 texts taught by Maitreya. So then, like Aya Asanga, Bosumant, and many other scholars, you see, made commentary about the Maitreya sort of his text. And many scholars, many Buddhist scholars, you see, take quotation from that. And then, other hand, Nagarjuna. That's well known as a human being. And Indian, South Indian. I usually see teasing to North Indian. Most of the Nalanda Buddhist scholars, most of them seems come from South India. So those great logicians, great sort of debater, most of them come from South India. So I usually see expressing, generally Indian brain is very, very sort of wonderful brain. And secondly, South Indians, special brain. Oh, you from South Indian? Or Gujarat 말이야. So you see, so that group now accept the Sanskrit sort of tradition. Usually, sometimes we call Bodhisattva or Mahayana. That also is a true teaching of Buddha. Then, obviously, in these Mahayana texts, mention the Bodhisattva, Avalokiteshvara, another Bodhisattva, the Manjushri, Maitreya, Saini Bukhasare, Samindabhadra,
Siddhikapa.
Chindikarva, so on. So obviously, like the Heart Sutra, very beginning, you see, it mentioned there's some discussion between Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, and Shariputra. So obviously, the common people, you see, cannot see these things. So it is some special kasuda.
Those who have pure karmic connections.
So naturally, Buddha taught like Panchaparamita Sutra, some selected sort of audience, not publicly. So therefore, these things are not recorded publicly. So Bhagavad, another great scholar, Bhagavad, Umanibus kare, Madhyamika.
Madhyamika
No.
Loka. Hride.
Kasa.
Madhyamika Hride.
In that that book, and also its own commentary, so mentioned the Kadu, Chunjusabo Kuru Sabo, Jan Sabo, Tesu Kadu Javis.
So
Yondrag, Tenusum Kadu Zang, Kunde Yamarite, D Kadu D, any Gusan Jamia, Sanda Shamsoti, Textual, talking about Shet, do it on you.
So the Mahayana teachings, the collection of the Mahayana teachings were not carried by the human beings, but by the bodhisattvas like Samantabhadra and Manjushri.
So it is quite obvious. The audience, not public, but selected sort of people. Then, like the location Rajgiri, that Kasa, Vulture Kasa, Chagunguri.
Walter Peak.
That place, very small. But the scripture mentioned is a big audience. So, not I think the conventional way. Some sort of let happen.
Those who have pure connections.
So, I think some of you already heard one occasion whether you see Mahayana teaching is authentic Buddhist teaching or not, some sort of discussion. So then I told Nagarjuna, firstly, Indian, so should know better about India. Then Nagarjuna come only after about 400 years, Buddhist sort of Mahaparinirvana. So comparatively, only 400. So quite close.
Closer to Buddha.
And then important is Nagarjuna, judging his writing, is very, very brilliant-minded against South Indian or Central Indian, where? Andhra Pradesh. Marbe. Now it is located in Andhra Pradesh. So, very, very brilliant. And then very, very logician.
Logical. No, great logician.
He always examine. He never accept easily. Even Buddha's own word, he examined. Now, this Buddhist teaching, you cannot accept literally, because this goes against our logic. So such person, such person, and only after 400 years, and an Indian, I think should know better than some of the Western scholars after 2,500 years. From distance, from West, the concept, the background carry the Judeo-Christian sort of view, and then look at Indian history. Sometimes I feel like that. Then I think exact sort of knowledge is where. No. Precise knowledge, I think only possible. I think the Buddhist, someone who actually witnessed Buddha's activities, then come today, then can tell. That's impossible, or like that. Now, important thing is the essence of Mahayana teaching, entirely based on Four Noble Truths and 37 Causality.
Auxiliary paths, Buddhahood.
Sanskrit, Sanskrit, Chanchosuddin.
Buddhiyana.
Karsa.
The Sanskrit version of the 37 auxiliary paths to enlightenment.
So that is the real sort of the practice of the Theravada world. And that's the basis of the Mahayana teaching. In those Mahayana Sanskrit texts, the further sort of explanation with reasons about Nirodha, the cessation. In order to know, in order to explain thoroughly the possibility of elimination of negative emotion, you need the clear presentation about ultimate reality. In order to know the subtle level of ignorance, you must know the reality. Then examine that ignorant mind, what kind of sort of grasping, and what's the reality. So therefore, like Dharma Kirti's Parmanavatika Karika. Very important text. So they thoroughly explain And then also the Chandrakirti. So when we study these books, then idea of Four Noble Truths truly becomes something living. Otherwise, just relying on quotation of Buddha. So these great Indian sort of scholars, they really point out through reasons. So the Theravada tradition is the basis of Buddha Dharma. Then those Sanskrit texts is actually further sort of
enhancement,
like that. Then so that we call about Mahayana, the second Dharma wheel at Rajgiri, and then third Dharma wheel, and Yambachan's
Veshali,
and some other places. So now I'm not going to detail these things. I think you may feel boring. Now Four Noble Truths. I think our session, perhaps this is some my explanation, then about, I think, 30, 40 minutes, some discussion. Then at the end, maybe a few minutes silent meditation. So that will be an opportunity among those audience who feel a little tired, then feel sleep. Okay, that's the opportunity to rest, to sleep. So at the beginning, chance di shingi Sanskrit and Omo Yedrama Hidu Tamba Hidu taken Tatanga to Hewan the Tekans and the Yamba the Mashamana Soti, Drugibe, Sanskrit. Anyone who can recite this mantra? Of course, we know you see that mantra, but our accent is a Tibetan Sanskrit accent. Oh, then good. I think please. I think you come here. I think you come here. No, come here, come here. I think this is very, very sort of important sort of what's the shloka. Many years ago, I think in 60s, Ubadeva, a great scholar, Sanskrit scholar, he came to see me, I think almost first time or second time. And we just used to talk. I also used to study the Sanskrit grammar a little bit. And of course, some sort of, some terminology, some words. Or some. So then he told me, you see, the Prasannapada in Sanskrit still exists, available. So then I request him, please recite in Sanskrit about because of the praising to Buddha, Devati. And then he recite Sanskrit with certain sort of Sanskrit sort of tune. I very much moved. All these texts which we learned from childhood, the original text in Sanskrit. So one Indian scholar recite that. Something very, very moving. So now he often, you say, I sort of request him when I give some teaching in West or lecture on Buddhism. Then this is some Heart Sutra in Sanskrit. So, often I request him, chanting Heart Sutra in Sanskrit. Now today, Yedamainda.
Om ye dharma hetu prabha hetum te shantagatav dete te shanchi nirodha evang vadi mahashramana.
Thank you. Now the translation, Tibetan. Chöna tamche gyulichung, tichu tichi shebesung, gyula gokpa kanyinba, geshun shimbe tegesung. Thank you. Thank you. When you recite word of Buddha, come here. Now finished, go there.
All phenomena have are
The translation, meaning translation.
all phenomena are born from causes and conditions, and causes and conditions have been taught by the Buddha, and the cessation of those causes and the results have also been taught by the same Buddha.
So that the Four Noble Truths mentioning. That Sanskrit sort of word, it seems common in Theravada tradition also. 두개, 이 택면부터 예담한테 등기 왜 계시도, 또 sulak한테 봐 예담 치셔야지. 하고네. So now the meaning, every phenomena which changing, there must be its own causes. So it mentioned law of causality. From the Buddhist sort of Buddhism and Jainism, mainly these two, you see, according to their tradition, no concept of creator, of God, creator. Of course, God in the sense of higher being, like Buddha, Bodhisattva, then okay. But God as such, creator, absolute. And these two traditions, no such sort of concept. Because when they sort of examining the kasa Pramana Vadika Karika, and also the Shantadeva's book, the 9th chapter, and also the Shantarakshita's the text, mainly logics. Karsadi.
Tattva Samgra. Gra.
So, very thick, thick, not very, very thick, but it's quite big. Very difficult. For me, when I start to read, then immediately feel bye-bye. Very difficult. Unless you spend, you see, a lot of time, otherwise it's very difficult. So these clearly mentioned. If you accept, now I'm speaking from the viewpoint of Buddhist masters. Please understand, now this is not at all, you see, the Kasura, make Kasura,
to be critical of other traditions.
The tradition, no, as I mentioned earlier. But you see the text is mentioned like this. I think here also the India's real sort of also the tradition of tolerance, different views. One time, your former Deputy Prime Minister, Advani, told me, the since ancient time, one sort of school of thought, Charvaka nihilism. No. So the rest of the Indian thinker very much criticize, oppose, and sometimes condemn. But person who hold that view refer rishi. Rishi means sage. So that clearly shows respect. So that's, I think, that. And then, like, I think within Buddhist within Buddhist scholars, the Arya Asanga, some his writing, he little bit sort of criticized and sort of harsh word towards those school of thought which which denying existence of inherent nature.
Inherent nature of objects.
So Arya Sangha, Bodhisattva, in his writing, criticized very harsh word. And also, you see, the Chandakirti's sort of writing.
Prasnapata. The auto-commentary of Madhyamika.
At the end, he raised a question, like great Bhikshu Basubandh and Dhammapala, whether they abandoned because of the lack of merit.
Merit.
Lack of merit, and so it's abandoned about the subtle meaning of shunyata. Then his answer is yes. So that also, you see, some kind of sort of
criticism.
Very critical, harsh word towards Basubandh and Dhammapala. So this intellectual level, when they carry argument, you see, they really, they use the sharpest sort of argument. That not sort of disrespect, but respect. I think in our sort of tradition, when the debate court were chara,
in the debate courtyard.
Debate courtyard, you see, people debate the dialectical way, sometimes lose temper. But after finish, you see, the debate, then nothing, very friendly. Some exceptional case there. You see, some serious debate. Then, next few years, always, you see, whenever that person come and debate. So rest of their life, little bit, occasion, very exceptional case, such things happen. Otherwise, you see, debate is debate. But then there's nothing with sort of negative feeling each other like that. So I'm here now saying the sort of also the argument point about the existence of absolute creator. One simple thing, about 2 years ago, one my friend, one doctor, wonderful person, very religious-minded. He sincerely asked me, God, very much compassionate. He creates this world. In his creature, a lot of mischievous people there. Why compassionate God is to create mischievous people? He asked me this question. Then, of course, I know him, so half joke, I told him, since compassionate God create hell, so there must be someone have to go hell. Otherwise, it's empty. It's no purpose creating hell. That's the only answer. Otherwise, no answer. Then, a lot of complications. God, because of the all-knowing, all powerful, creator, as a creator, all powerful, and full mercy, infinite love. These are contradictions, contradictory sort of things. So difficult. Then philosophical way, the logical way, the God permanent, not changing. Oneness, permanent. So source, permanent. Creature, changing. That also is a contradiction. So the Buddhist, I think Jainism also may be the same. Any phenomena which changing must be their causes. And the causes itself also changing due to its own causes, So beginningless. So that's the basis of the limitless sort of lives, life after life. The consciousness is the main basis of designated self or I. So that consciousness, you see, consciousness, its own special entity. So that substantial cause must be similar nature. So therefore, consciousness never produced by the physical sort of the particles. Similar way, the physical particle cannot sort of produce by mind. Of course, in the cooperative causes, yes, they are. But substantial cause must be same nature. So that's the logical sort of approach, beginningless of mind or consciousness. And also the physical world also beginningless. Our physical, for example, my body, the subtle sort of particles, my body, you see, the continuation of the substantial causes, continuation, no beginning. At the time of Big Bang, already there. The Big Bang also, you see, happened due to tremendous sort of pressure. So this pressure or energy must come from some sources. So that source, again, its own causes. So beginningless. So that's the Buddhist Buddhist argument. So, so the conclusion is everything which changing due to its own causes. So, law of causality. That's the one meaning of Paticca Samuppada. That's in the Hanakasa Jagati. Kaza, Shana Julisung, Tiji Sevesung. Julam Goba Kaimba, Geshem Tegesung, that Julam Goba says to her.
The cessation of the causes, the great, the perfected one also taught the same.
So the first verses, two verses,
two lines. The first two lines.
Mentioned law of causality in general. And within that, the suffering, or experience of suffering, experience of joyfulness, both, because of that, belongs the phenomena which changing. So it must be causes. So now, the causes of suffering. No sentient being wants suffering. Any sentient being always desire to overcome suffering. Yet, many suffering ultimately is own creation. That's obviously ignorance. Nobody consciously making effort to create more suffering. No. So ignorance now. Here ignorance, there are many levels of ignorance. Firstly, ignorance which the ignorant of the
the nature of causality.
Then further question, why it happened? Now, the Sanskrit tradition, much profound explanation. The subtle level of ignorance. Ignorance. So there is a lot of sort of explanation. This is something complicated. Usually some of the people who really having some problem about fear or about anger, these things, and I usually recommended it. Read Shantadeva's book, the 6th chapter, and I'm mentioning 6th chapter and 8th chapter, very useful. Then often I told them, the 9th chapter, too complicated, should not read. So it's a lot of sort of kasoda. I think that's the analyzation. Very deeper way, it's very complicated. So now roughly, this kasoda saying the sins, the source of causes of suffering due to ignorance. Therefore, it is very important to bring knowledge. The counterforce of ignorance is knowledge or wisdom. The ignorance will not go away through prayer, through just simple meditation. The counterforce of ignorance is only awareness or education and wisdom, like that. So, I think I often telling people, see, this is ignorance of A, B, C, D. Through prayer, not go away. Unless you learn some sort of drawing. This is A, this is B. As soon as you know that, the ignorance of A, B, C, D disappear. That's the only way. So our ignorance, they diminish only through study and develop understanding of the reality.